Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Listen closely, because this story starts with a key that should never have been taken. Late one night in Chicago, a man named Luca sits in his parked car, watching the lights flick on in an office building. He's not here for work. He opens the glove box and pulls out a worn brass key. It's not a key to his car or his apartment. It's the key to a house he was told was never really his. This key is a symbol of a long, quiet war he's been fighting his whole life. He drives to a hospital. There's no rush in his steps as he walks through the automatic doors. Inside, the air is cold and smells of antiseptic. Machines beep a steady, unnerving rhythm. Down the hallway, he sees his brother, Enzo, laughing on the phone, radiating the kind of confidence that comes from never having been told no. Nearby, his mother, Maria, sits next to his sister, Sofia. Maria dabs her eyes with a tissue, a gesture so practiced it looks like a scene from a play. Luca stands near them, unnoticed for a long moment. He's a ghost in his own family tragedy. Finally, Enzo hangs up and spots him. His eyes travel up and down, a mix of surprise and contempt. "Wow, you actually came," he says, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Maria looks up, her expression equally dismissive. "We thought you were in wherever it is you disappeared to." Sofia, his sister, offers the smallest of gestures. She shifts on the bench, creating a sliver of space, but never meets his eyes. Luca's reply is simple, steady. "I'm here." Behind a drawn curtain, their father, Angelo, lies unconscious. A doctor gives them the grim update. It could go either way. For Luca, this moment triggers a memory, sharp and painful. He's 18 again, standing in his family's kitchen late at night. He sees a folder on the counter, filled with mortgage documents. He overhears his parents' hushed voices. "He doesn't need to know," his mother says. His father's words are even colder. "It's not his. It never was." The quiet shock on his young face hardens into resolve. Another memory flashes. A younger Luca asking for a spare key to the house. He watches Enzo toss it in the air, smirking. "You'll lose it," Enzo taunts, before slipping the key into his own pocket, a promise broken before it was even made. Back in the hospital, the years of quiet endurance are etched on Luca's face. We see a montage of his life. Long nights studying, then working, climbing the corporate ladder while his family remained a distant, critical presence. He'd show up for holidays, help out with so-called emergencies that were really just requests for money, and then fade back into the background, his contributions unacknowledged. He wasn't just working. He was building a fortress, brick by methodical brick. Enzo breaks the silence, leaning against the wall. "We're gonna need you to sign something later," he says casually. Luca's eyes narrow slightly. "What kind of something?" Sofia answers, her voice flat. "If Dad doesn't make it, we handle the estate. The lawyer's coming tomorrow." Maria adds a soft, manipulative touch. "It's complicated, Luca." He just nods. "Sure, I'll listen." That night, back in his own apartment, Luca opens a drawer. There are no family photos, no sentimental keepsakes. Instead, it's filled with meticulously organized documents, dated and signed. He wasn't preparing for drama. He was preparing for reality. The next day, the family gathers in a private hospital room with the lawyer, a man named Halvorsen. He opens his briefcase. "There's a will," he begins, "and there are also significant assets held outside of probate." Enzo leans forward, confident. "We know the basics. The house, the accounts, the family business." Halvorsen pauses, looking over his glasses. "Before we proceed, I need to confirm identity and relationship for the record." Enzo rolls his eyes. "We're his kids. He's our brother." He gestures dismissively at Luca. "Mom just thinks he'll cause a scene." Luca remains perfectly still. "Just read it." And then, the first bombshell drops. "The deed to the family house," Halvorsen announces, "was transferred into an irrevocable trust 2 years ago." Sofia is the first to speak, her voice trembling with shock. "Why would he do that?" Enzo's question is sharper, more to the point. "Transferred to who?" Halvorsen looks directly at Luca. "The sole trustee is Luca Moretti." Silence. Thick, suffocating silence. Maria is in disbelief. "That can't be right." Enzo is furious. "It's a mistake." "He doesn't even have a key to the house." Luca speaks, his voice calm and even. "That part is true. I never had a key," Halvorsen continues, listing the trust's conditions. "The house cannot be sold for 7 years, it cannot be used as collateral for a loan, and it cannot be rented out. Luca finally adds his own commentary. It makes sense if you know what he was protecting it from. But the lawyer isn't finished. The majority shares of the family business? Also in the trust, under Luca's control. Enzo slams his hand on the table. That's mine. Dad promised me that was mine. Halvorsen then pulls out a letter, written by Angelo himself. He reads it aloud. It's a confession. A confession of favoritism, of cowardice, of standing by while one son was pushed aside and the other was enabled. The letter reveals Enzo had been taking reckless loans against the business, driving it toward collapse. The trust was Angelo's last desperate act to save it. Then comes the final, devastating blow. Luca slides a pristine folder across the table. I work in corporate compliance, he states. Your loans flagged on my systems months ago. I documented everything. Maria looks at him, bewildered. You never told us. Luca's reply is a gut punch. You never asked. At Angelo's funeral, the grief is polished and performative. Afterward, Enzo corners Luca, his face a mask of rage. You planned this. Luca's response is cold and hard as steel. I lived through it. Sofia tries to play peacemaker. We can fix this, Luca. He looks at her, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. We can fix something. His proposal is laid out on paper, a restructuring plan for the business, with fair terms for everyone. But it comes with a non-negotiable condition, 1 full year of mandatory monthly family counseling. For all of them, Maria is aghast. You want to humiliate us. Luca's voice is low, intense. I want you to finally look at what you did. Enzo calls it blackmail. Luca doesn't flinch. The reality is, I'm the trustee. Sofia asks the one question that cuts through all the legal jargon and financial details. Do you enjoy this? For the first time, Luca's composure cracks, just slightly. I don't enjoy it, he says, his voice thick with years of pain. I hate that it took legal documents for you to finally see me. We see them sign the papers. Enzo, furious. Sofia, resigned. Maria, last, her hand shaking. So what now? She asks quietly. Luca stands, ready to leave. He looks at the family he was never truly a part of. Now, he says, you learn what it feels like to live with boundaries you didn't create. He opens the door and steps out into the cold night air, leaving them to face the world he just built for them. So here's the question for you. Do you think Luca's actions went too far? Was this a calculated, cruel revenge, or was it the only way to finally achieve justice? Let me know what you think in the comments. Was it justice or was it cruelty? Thanks for watching.